This year has been nothing short of incredible for Clash of Clans. With the introduction of Town Hall 16, we've seen some of the most game-changing mechanics.
Hero equipment allows you to fully customize every hero ability.
Events.
No way.
And much more. It's clear that Supercell has poured their heart and soul into the game, making 2024 arguably the biggest year for Clash of Clans in terms of updates. This video will recap everything that's happened this year, from the start of the Cookie Rumble event to the latest nerfs and the 12th Clashiversary. The first chapter I'll go over in this video is going to be about hero equipment, ores, and I'll also be covering the recent nerfs that came out. Hero equipment was introduced not too long ago during the 2023 Christmas update, marking a significant shift in gameplay. Along with this new feature, 3 different types of ores were also introduced as resources necessary to upgrade the equipment's level. When this update was first announced, the community was divided on whether the new equipment was even worth the investment. Over the years, we've seen new resources trickle in, like Clan War League medals or raid medals, but this was the first time in Clash history that players were suddenly introduced to 3 distinct types of ores, all essential for upgrading epic equipment to its maximum potential. To some, it was clear what Supercell was aiming for. They were trying to offer players a customizable experience, much like hero skins, which also benefited the company. However, this time it wasn't just about aesthetics or cosmetics. It was about exclusive items that could significantly impact the meta. This led to concerns that the new system might create a pay-to-win scenario, where players would either need to grind extensively for ore bonuses in clan wars, or open their wallets to stay competitive. With this in mind, Clash of Clans faced significant backlash from the community, with many players arguing that the new hero equipment system was heavily skewed towards a pay-to-win model. The concern was that maxing out equipment would become increasingly difficult without spending money, and if it wasn't a problem now, it certainly would be in the long run, as more and more epic equipment and even rumored legendary equipment was introduced. However, as time went on, the accessibility of ores improved significantly for players from Town Hall 8 and above. Ores became available through various in-game activities, such as the Star Bonus, Wars, Clan War Leagues, the Daily Trader Shop, and even through raid medals. This made it a lot easier for all players to gradually adapt to the new hero equipment system, easing some of the initial concerns. As more equipment of different rarities was slowly introduced, it added much needed variety and customization options to the game, which many players appreciated. That said, there was still some criticism, particularly around how quickly epic equipment was being released, making it very difficult for players to keep up. Since much of this equipment was being rolled out through events, it often felt overwhelming to stay on top of it all. Nonetheless, Supercell responded by increasing the availability of ores to better support the influx of new equipment, and that was where this segment of the video was about to end. However, Supercell surprised the whole entire community with a comprehensive nerf list targeting nearly all the meta hero equipment, a move that left everybody shocked. The following nerfs and buffs is what will be added to the equipment. Starting off with the Barbarian King, the Barbarian Puppet is going to be lasting a longer rage for the Barbarians, and they will spawn more slowly to keep them alive longer, and also a bigger health boost for the king. The Earthquake Boots are getting a 2-tile increase on the radius, along with more damage percentage to the buildings. Giant Gauntlet, however, is getting nerfed in damage per second, self-healing, and the amount of blocking that comes in as he is enraged. The Spiky Ball is also getting nerfed with a smaller number of targets that the ball will be hitting. Now, for the Archer Queen, the Archer Puppet is getting a massive boost, just like the Barbarian Puppet. The archers will be invisible, and there will be more of them, and they'll come in waves so that they don't die all at once. The Frozen Arrow is going to get nerfed in the speed across every single level, and for the Grand Warden, the Eternal Tome is getting nerfed across every single level, whereas the Life Gem is getting boosted. The max hit points the troops can receive will be increased essentially across the board. The Rage Gem is getting a little bit of a nerf, but only at the lower levels, and the Healing Tome will be taking a big drop to the number of seconds it will be alive for. And finally, the Royal Champion's Haste Vial is going to be reduced in duration and at almost every level, the Hog Puppet will spawn lower level Hog Riders. But the Royal Champion's Rocket Spear will be getting a buff. It will be an extra spear at every single level. I think with these nerfs and buffs on the board, it's clear that Supercell is trying to give the other common equipment a chance by buffing it and making it usable in situations. Of course, in order for that to happen, unfortunately, there will have to be several nerfs to some of the meta equipment, which honestly is something that Supercell might just keep nerfing until they see it fair in their eyes. Overall, I do think that some of these changes made sense and were fair. However, some of these decisions were a little confusing. For example, they nerfed most of the Warden's abilities to the ground, but when it comes to a literal nuke, the team decided that was okay? Anyways, most of the meta equipment pieces mentioned so far have been tied to exclusive events, and this year's events have been nothing short of amazing. In 2024, we've seen a total of 5 major events, starting with the Lunar New Year Dragon Festival event. The Dragon Festival event was a spectacular celebration that introduced 2 limited edition troops and a new piece of epic hero equipment for the Archer Queen. The event was led by the Dragon Warden, whose exclusive hero skin could be obtained in the trader shop. During the event, players were encouraged to raid other villages to collect red envelopes, which were scattered throughout multiplayer battles, similar to Mashup Madness and Clashmas events from previous years. The more red envelopes you looted, the more dragon medals you earned, which could then be spent in the trader shop on various rewards. This event, while not introducing overpowered troops like previous ones, still offered a lot of fun. It was exciting to experiment with new attack strategies using the Firecrackers and Azure Dragons, making it a very memorable start to the year's lineup of events. Now, the next set of events was actually a trio of separate events under a similar theme. If you remember, from March through June, Clash of Clans hosted 3 Super Spotlight events, one for the Super Dragon, another for the Super Rocket Balloon, and the last for the Super Wall Breaker. To be honest, these events didn't quite live up to my expectations. Unlike the Halloween or Christmas events, which naturally draw players in due to the festive atmosphere, these Super Spotlight events lacked that same level of excitement, partly because they weren't tied to any holiday. On top of that, the Supercell team chose some of the least compelling super troops to highlight. With an entire roster to pick from, they went with the Rocket Balloon and Wall Breaker. It felt like a missed opportunity, as these events could have been far more engaging and rewarding. It seemed like Supercell used these events more as a vehicle to introduce new hero equipment and keep players engaged, something that we hadn't seen in a while, so I do applaud them for their effort. However, the execution didn't quite match the potential. While the idea was there, the choice of troops and the overall structure left much to be desired. The next event was a bit different. Mid-April saw the release of the Streak event in Clash of Clans. This event was unique in that it wasn't really considered a full event, but rather a side feature that ran alongside another Super Troop event, primarily designed as a way to help players earn more loot. The concept was simple. Players could progress along a reward track by completing daily challenges that increased in difficulty, with rewards growing incrementally. The key was consistency, as the event required you to log in and complete a challenge each day, which is where it got its name, the Streak event. On the surface, there wasn't much wrong with this event. It provided free rewards and gave players something to look forward to with each login. However, the event was plagued by glitches, with countless Reddit posts highlighting how it just wouldn't work properly. This might have been a major reason why the event was eventually cancelled. There is a possibility that the developers are working behind the scenes to fix the issues and reintroduce it in the coming months, and if they manage to iron out the bugs, it would be a welcoming addition, as the event, despite its simplicity, offered a rewarding sense of accomplishment, and at the end of the day, it's free loot. Around this time, the Rumble event took place, and I can't lie, this wasn't the most notable event. Rumble was one of those community events where all players got together to contribute to a reward track, and by a certain date, if we had broken a certain number of town halls, we would be rewarded with a star bonus multiplier, and that was basically it. I feel like a lot of these side events happened this year, and I guess I won't be going too in depth in them as they were short and sweet and didn't really impact the game as much. Following this, on May 7th, Clash of Clans released one of its biggest events ever, a collaboration with one of the world's top footballers, Erling Haaland. If you take a moment to think about it, Haaland is a real-life person and Clash of Clans is a video game, so you might be wondering how they managed to incorporate him into the game.
No way.
Well, while the idea was ambitious, the execution left a bit to be desired. In this event, players could earn footballs and golden boot medals, as temporary resources. Footballs were used to progress along a reward track, similar to season challenges, while golden boot medals could be spent at the trader to purchase exclusive rewards. The event also introduced 2 limited time troops, but like in previous events, they didn't feel particularly unique and were somewhat underwhelming to play with, so I won't dive into them too much. The real highlight, however, of this event was undoubtedly the Haaland skin, which was the main attraction for most players, and of course many fans were disappointed at the skin's design, but you know, there's not much that you can do. This season also added another epic gear for the king, called the spiky ball, which was at first very overpowered, but got nerfed to hell immediately. One of the most recent and arguably the best events in Clash of Clans history is the Unlimited Hero events, and this event, which quickly became a fan favorite, finally delivered on something the community had been requesting for years: the ability to use heroes in attacks while they were upgrading. It's difficult to overstate just how much players appreciated this feature. It was pure gold, transforming gameplay in a way that felt incredibly rewarding. However, despite the overwhelming positive reception from the community, it's likely that Supercell didn't enjoy the event as much as the players did. By allowing heroes to upgrade and attack simultaneously, the event significantly reduced the need for hero books and gem upgrades, which are typically key revenue sources for the game. As a result, it's possible that this event, while beloved by players, may not return anytime soon due to the potential impact on Supercell's earnings. As we near the end of this video, let's talk about the latest and much anticipated event, the Anime Event. This event was available to players with Town Hall 6 or higher, and introduced an exciting new mechanic where you could collect magic crystals from wizard towers. These magic crystals allow you to progress through the event track, ultimately converting them into magic medals to unlock special rewards in the shop. Among these rewards were the new Archer Queen's equipment, the magic mirror, and more notably, the Kawaii Giant. The event also featured 2 temporary troops, the Broom Witch and the Mecha. The Mecha had a similar target build to the P.E.K.K.A, while the Broom Witch specifically targeted wizard towers. Both troops added a unique twist to gameplay, making this event stand out unlike previous event troops. However, the most talked about aspect of this event was the limited time cosmetics. In addition to interesting decorations, Supercell also released new hero skins and an anime themed scenery. While I've covered these in detail in a previous video, which I encourage you to watch, I have to say, Supercell kind of sold on the anime skins. Some of them look pretty rough, falling far short of their potential, and the community on Reddit hasn't been shy about expressing their disappointment. And this entire season has just been a bully fest for the hero skins, which is quite understandable. And so far, we've covered pretty much all the main aspects of this year's Clash updates and events. If you really enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks you'll like these videos next. Peace out and take care.